games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Fiddly bo, yes, yeah. Here we go. There ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. I just want to do a quick shout out pretty much to everybody that watched my video the other day. The charity match on Saturday for my friend Joe Lister, who passed away 20 years ago on the 14th of November. And we raised loads of money for the charity. And yeah, just thank you to all the nice wishes and that everybody made and nice comments towards him and stuff. So it's awesome to proper appreciate it. We won 3-2 as well. So I don't lose in charity matches that much is certain. That's what we've come to. That's what we've come to find out, innit? Farke is getting the sack, everybody, and here is why. He's done an interview for Sky Sports, and I'm confused as to what he said that's ruffled everybody. I don't know whether we're all snowflakes now. The interviews, as we spoke about before, they're absolute bollocks. It doesn't matter what he says in these interviews. They just don't like Farke. We have to stay cool and back these players, and I believe in this club. Not my quote. That is the quote of Daniel Farke. Now, I don't really know, other than staying cool, backing the players and believing in the club, I don't really know what else. I don't know what's so hyperbolic about that statement, really. You know, he loves saying it's an emotional club. And to be honest, unfortunately, I'm starting to think he's right, and it is an emotional club because you got the Voldemorts of the world when just shuts up and enjoys the win every time we win. And then when we lose to a team that qualified for Europe last year, a team that everybody told me were bloody excellent and we all had to worry about, it's back to disaster. So unfortunately, I'm afraid he's correct. I wish it wasn't the case, but he didn't say anything other than the fact that we're an emotional club and that he believes in the club and he believes in the players and he believes that we can stay up and survive in the Premier League. A thing that everybody sort of told me last year that would be really difficult to do. And just even though Burnley are still sort of in there with us and around us, because Sunderland have gone off and done half decent at the start. Well, more than half decent. I'm not knocking Sunderland. I'm glad for them. Well done. They've gone off and they've started really well. So, that now means that we're only in, like I said at the start of the season, we're only in competition with Sunderland. So we're just chasing Sunderland's tail constantly. We can't just view each game as it comes and think, right, Brighton was shit. Forest was shit. We didn't do enough to win them games. We're on the back of a couple of really bad losses. Need to bounce back. It's going to be an unbelievable, difficult month, which we'll talk about in a second. When we do lose, what we do is, the Voldemorts of the world and others come out and they take screenshots and they do these bullshit analysis posts and they get the stats out and say that this guy has lost the ball here. And we screenshot the photo and say, this lad there is out of position. When we conceded a goal, he's out of position. He's out of position. He needs to be stood here. He needs to stand there. And it's all just like, this is, if you concede a goal, it tends to be, somebody's fault, doesn't it? If you screenshotted it 5 minutes prior and he's not out of position or it doesn't amount to a goal, does the mistake matter? You could argue yes, it does, but not so much. They're not. When people start screenshotting trends and things that happen sort of like every 30 seconds, and you think, well, this is why we're conceding goals. We've not been that bad. I just don't care what anybody says. As Voldemort once told Daniel Farke, who he would suck off in public in front of the world if he met him, by the way, just shut up, mate. Just like he did Dallas, spent loads of time abusing him. And then he fucking blew him off when he met him. So, just shut up, mate. I wish we could bring as much energy and the same amount of energy and craziness to Leeds United support fan base as we do for some people's international games where no one can do any wrong and they just defended players and, defend. I wish people could defend the mates a bit better in real life. I wish stuck up for people a little bit more. But it's all just a point scoring exercise, and it's all I'm an angel and I can do no wrong. I've never done out wrong, and that I'm standing up for what's right, even though really you're actually being the same, the knight in shining armor, and it's all I know everything after it's happened. It's never I know what's going on before. It's all what's happened, and we come up with these bullshit ideas that we know he's never going to go with, and then go, that's what would work. And in reality, you'd be out of a job within 2 minutes because you haven't got a clue what you're doing. You'd have a Scooby-Doo. But yeah, Farke's got to get the sack because we're going into 4 fixtures now. We're going to end up a week into December, and we'll likely have 0 more points. And then everybody's going to come to me and say, well, you're happy with that. Like, I only want 0 points a week into December. We'll be on the 7th of December, likely with no points. So my question I pose is, how many points would he have to achieve to shut these goons up? Because I do truly believe the majority of fan is relatively chilled out about football in general, and they're not so emotional and so, on the verge of being on the blob just every 2 minutes, every time something happens, and so erratic and emotional. It's like, can you not get over it? Can you not just calm down? After you watch the 90 minutes, it's frustrating, it's shit, you moan about it, you moan to your mates about it, and then do you have to go online and try and get 30,000 likes on, 30,000 views on Twitter? Does that validate your opinion? Because I don't necessarily think the loudest opinion makes it the right opinion. Just because it gains traction, just because hate works online, and it does. There's no doubt about it. The more you moan, the more hyperbolic you are, the more you piss and whinge, the more you engage with people because you annoy people, and then people like to jump in on the bandwagon. People that don't even really watch the games come in and say, well, no, I've heard this. And it's like, well, yeah, you've heard this off somebody that doesn't like the club ultimately. I don't know what people think support actually means, and just getting behind the club every now and again. And just saying, waiting for Farke to actually say something daft. Because if you've watched my videos over the past few years while Farke's been here, there's been a couple of times where I've thought he's really tripped himself up. And this last interview is just not one of them. He's not said anything. He's not said anything that he hasn't been saying for ages, to be perfectly honest. He got abused by Voldemort when he said that we're 100% going up, and he said, talk about pressure. It's like, well, there's a lot of pressure floating around, isn't there? And there's a lot of pressure on the players now, and there's a lot of pressure on the manager, a lot of pressure on Parag, your best mate, and he may very well have to step in at some point. So there is a lot of pressure floating around, isn't there? And it's about dealing with the pressure. So you could argue Farke putting pressure on the 100 points season and saying we will 100% go up this season. He's applying pressure to the players for the long run, getting into the Premier League, and then going, there's going to be pressure next year, and you're not going to have to be crying in changing room, Aronson style when we were getting relegated, or Tanaka style when he's breaking down into tears. I thought, strange behaviour. You've got to stand up and be a man at some point, haven't you? And do the right thing. Get behind the manager, get behind the players, and take a bit of shit off your fellow man a little bit. Stand up for somebody. Stand up for somebody that you think's done an half-decent job. I don't think Farke's the be-all and end-all, but I'm not just going to jump ship because we've had a relatively decent start to the Premier League season. I mean, by no means am I'm in panic zone. I thought this was expected. I thought we was all up for this. I thought we expected it, but no, the goons come out large, and it's just like, yeah, let's go 4-4-2 and get Sean Dyche in. Sam Allardyce. We missed a trick with Sean. Marco Silva. Just, all these managers that have failed at other clubs but would, for some reason, succeed at our club. And then just go, well, look what Farke did at Norwich. It's like, all right, then. Let's look at what Farke did for Norwich. Talk about pressure. And then moaning, pissing and whinging that these players get paid a truckload of money and can't deal with a bit of pressure. Football comes with pressure. Your job comes with pressure. Life comes with pressure. Deal with it. Get over yourselves. Get over it and get over yourselves. Get up, get out, and get on with it. If we get 6 points over the next 4 games, it's a wild return. If we get 4, it's tremendous. If we get 3, we've done really well, haven't we? Let's have it right. So let's see what happens. We've got Villa, Man City, Chelsea, then Liverpool, and that takes us to the 7th of December. Now, the reason I say the 7th is because the 6th is when we play Liverpool, but, you have to play that game to get to the 7th, don't you? And then Brentford, Crystal Palace, Sunderland around Christmas, before and after Christmas, which then three potentially, 3 real pressurised games. We're getting towards the pressure part of the season, aren't we? December's always a big month. We've got a really difficult one coming up. Come on. My mama never raised no dummy.
I don't wanna play promises. You do you and I'll do me, that's just the way it is.
Boom.